Dostoevsky stood before a firing squad. The rifles were raised. He heard the command. And in those final seconds before a last-minute pardon arrived, he saw something about human beings that no philosopher, no scientist, no priest had ever dared to articulate. He saw that humans do not want to be saved. Not really, not if salvation means giving up the one thing more precious to us than happiness itself. That thing is freedom. The freedom to choose wrong, the freedom to suffer, the freedom to destroy ourselves for no reason at all. Freedom, suffering, choice. Over the next century, psychology would scramble to catch up with what this Russian novelist already knew. Today, we're unlocking 7 brutal truths Dostoevsky discovered about human nature. Truths that explain why you sabotage your own happiness, why you crave chaos, and why deep down, you might not want the life you say you want. Stay until the end, because the last truth will haunt you. In 1864, Dostoevsky published a short novel that shattered every assumption the Enlightenment had built. Notes from Underground. Its narrator is not a hero. He's a bitter, spiteful man living in a basement in St. Petersburg, and he delivers a monologue that demolished the idea that humans are rational creatures. As Dostoevsky wrote through his Underground Man, man is sometimes extraordinarily, passionately in love with suffering. Think about that. The great thinkers of his era believed that if you showed people what was good for them, they would choose it. Give them logic, give them science, give them a crystal palace of perfect reason, and humanity would flourish. Dostoevsky called this the most dangerous lie ever told. Because he understood something terrifying. You have done things you knew were bad for you, not because you were ignorant, not because you lacked information, but because something inside you wanted to prove that you could. Irrational, defiant, free. You chose the cigarette, the toxic relationship, the self-destructive path, not despite knowing better, but precisely because you knew better. And this leads us to something even darker. Here is the second brutal truth. If you gave human beings a perfect world, they would tear it apart with their bare hands. In Notes from Underground, Dostoevsky imagines a utopia. A crystal palace where every need is met, every problem solved, every desire fulfilled. And his narrator says he would rather stick his tongue out at the whole thing than live in it. Boredom. That is what terrifies us more than pain, more than loss, more than death itself. Dostoevsky understood that humans will choose suffering over boredom every single time. Shower upon him every earthly blessing, drown him in a sea of happiness, and even then out of sheer ingratitude, sheer spite, man would play you some nasty trick. Look at your own life. How many times have you been comfortable, stable, at peace, and then created chaos for no reason? Started an argument, made a reckless decision, burned something good to the ground. If Dostoevsky's insight about suffering is resonating with you right now, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring the depths of human nature with me. Because what comes next goes even deeper. You were not broken for doing this. You were being profoundly, disturbingly human, and this brings us to the truth Dostoevsky considered most dangerous of all. The third brutal truth is the one that separates Dostoevsky from every other writer who ever lived. Humans do not actually want happiness, they want freedom, and freedom includes the right to make yourself miserable. We would rather be free and suffering than happy and enslaved. This is the core argument of the Grand Inquisitor, perhaps the most powerful chapter ever written in literature. In the Brothers Karamazov, Ivan tells a parable. Christ returns to earth during the Spanish Inquisition. The Grand Inquisitor arrests him and delivers a devastating speech. He tells Christ that his greatest mistake was giving humanity free will. You desired man's free love, that he should follow you freely, enticed and taken captive by you. The Inquisitor argues that most people cannot handle freedom. They want bread, miracles, and authority. They want someone to tell them what to do. Bread, miracles, authority. And here is the knife twist. He might be right about most people. But Dostoevsky believed the price of giving up freedom was losing your soul, even if freedom meant suffering, especially if it meant suffering. But what happens when that freedom turns inward? The fourth truth is the one most people refuse to accept. Dostoevsky discovered that evil is not a product of ignorance, it is a product of choice. People do terrible things not because they don't know better, but because they want to prove they can. In Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov does not murder the old pawnbroker because he needs money. He does it to test an idea. He wants to know if he is an extraordinary man, someone above ordinary morality, someone who has the right to transgress. This is not madness. This is the logical conclusion of a mind that believes it is special enough to be exempt from the rules. And the terrifying part, Dostoevsky knew this impulse lives in all of us. Every time you cut a corner because you felt you deserved to. Every time you justified cruelty because the other person had it coming. Every time you told yourself the rules apply to everyone but you. That is the Raskolnikov inside you whispering. As Dostoevsky understood, nothing is easier than to denounce the evildoer. Nothing is more difficult than to understand him. But understanding evil leads us to something Dostoevsky found even more unsettling. The fifth brutal truth: humans need punishment, not because society demands it, but because something deep inside us craves it. Guilt craving punishment. After Raskolnikov commits his murder, he is not caught by detectives. He is destroyed by his own conscience. He starts behaving erratically. He returns to the scene of the crime. He practically confesses to strangers. He is begging to be punished without realizing it. Dostoevsky saw that guilt is not just an emotion, it is a force. Guilt is the gravity of the human soul, and it always pulls you back down. Think about a time you did something wrong and got away with it. Did it feel like relief, or did some part of you feel worse because you weren't caught? That gnawing feeling, that need for the scales to balance, Dostoevsky understood it better than any psychologist. Decades before Freud would stumble towards similar ideas, Dostoevsky had already mapped the entire architecture of guilt. He knew that unpunished sin is heavier than any sentence. The guilt engine runs constantly inside us, and it connects directly to the next truth, one that reveals what guilt is actually pointing toward. The sixth truth is paradoxical, and it might be Dostoevsky's most profound insight. Suffering is not the enemy, it is the path. Redemption. In nearly every novel Dostoevsky wrote, salvation does not come through success, knowledge, or pleasure. It comes through suffering willingly embraced. Raskolnikov is not redeemed by escape. He is redeemed by confession, by accepting punishment, by choosing suffering. In The Brothers Karamazov, the elder Zosima teaches that to love is to accept suffering for others. The soul is healed by being with children. But this is not masochism. This is not glorifying pain. Dostoevsky is saying something far more subtle. The person who has never suffered deeply has never truly lived. He watched this in the Siberian prison camps where he spent 4 years. The criminals who accepted their punishment found something resembling peace. The ones who raged against it were consumed from within. Modern psychology calls this post-traumatic growth. Dostoevsky simply called it being human, and this leads directly to the truth about what we are really searching for. The seventh brutal truth: without something to believe in, humans become monsters. Remove God, remove meaning, remove any higher purpose, and watch what happens. Dostoevsky put this into the mouth of Ivan Karamazov with a line that has echoed through 150 years of philosophy. If God does not exist, everything is permitted. This is not a religious argument. Dostoevsky was wrestling with something far deeper. He was asking what happens to human morality when there is no foundation beneath it. No God, no rules. Look at the character of Stavrogin in Demons. He is brilliant, charismatic, capable of anything. And precisely because he believes in nothing, he commits acts of unspeakable cruelty, not from passion, from emptiness. The void inside him consumed everything it touched. Dostoevsky predicted something that the 20th century would prove in blood. When societies lose their moral foundations, they do not become enlightened. They become nihilistic. And nihilism, as Dostoevsky saw clearly, does not end in freedom. 1, first comes doubt. 2, then comes cynicism. 3, then comes cruelty. 4, then comes the void. But there is something that can fill that void, and this is where Dostoevsky becomes truly radical. Here is where all 7 truths converge into something extraordinary. Dostoevsky believed the answer to every darkness in human nature is not reason, not ideology, not power. Love, but not romantic love, not sentimental love. He meant a ferocious, irrational, sacrificial love that defies logic. In The Brothers Karamazov, Alyosha is surrounded by nihilists, intellectuals, sensualists, and murderers, and his response to all of it is radical, active compassion. Love in action is a harsh and dreadful thing compared with love in dreams. This is the insight that makes Dostoevsky more than a novelist. He is telling us that the same irrational force that drives us to destroy ourselves can be redirected. The same defiance that makes us reject paradise can make us fight for each other. The same freedom that enables evil also enables the most profound good. Love is the only rebellion that actually changes anything. Dostoevsky did not offer easy answers. He offered the hardest answer imaginable. To love in full knowledge of how terrible people can be, that is the ultimate human act, and this brings us to the truth that ties everything together. There is a reason Dostoevsky's work still cuts so deep after more than a century. He held up a mirror that no one wanted to look into. Mirror truth soul. Every character he created is you. Raskolnikov's arrogance, Ivan's doubt, Dmitri's passion, the underground man's spite, Stavrogin's emptiness. You carry all of them. Every darkness he described lives somewhere inside your own mind. And that is not an accusation. That is a liberation, because Dostoevsky was not trying to condemn humanity. He was trying to save it by forcing it to see itself honestly. The darker the night, the brighter the stars. Modern psychology, existential philosophy, even neuroscience are still catching up to what this man understood in the 19th century. That humans are walking contradictions who crave freedom and fear it, seek love and sabotage it, want meaning and destroy it. He did not discover these truths by studying humanity from a distance. He discovered them in a Siberian prison camp, at a mock execution, in the depths of epileptic seizures, and through devastating personal loss. He paid for this wisdom with his life. The least we can do is listen. So here you stand, irrational, freedom-obsessed, capable of evil, haunted by guilt, hungry for meaning, terrified of the void, and capable of a love so fierce it can redeem everything. That is what Dostoevsky discovered about you. He did not write novels. He performed surgery on the human soul, and the 7 truths he uncovered are not comfortable. They are not meant to be. They are meant to wake you up. Wake up now, because the person who understands their own darkness is infinitely more powerful than the person who pretends they have none. The person who embraces their irrational nature instead of fighting it can channel that energy into something extraordinary. You are not broken, you are exactly the contradiction Dostoevsky described. And that contradiction is your greatest strength. If you made it this far, comment underground to prove you have looked into Dostoevsky's mirror and recognized yourself. Beauty will save the world. The wisdom of the ages is yours. Use it well.